Today, I'm sharing all about my favorite books of 2025 and what I'm looking forward to reading next year. Welcome to the Prepared Enough podcast, a podcast for the mom who wants to manage motherhood well and create a home where her family can thrive. I'm your host, Natasha Mila, former teacher, mom of four, and firm believer that a well-prepared home can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. In this podcast, we'll explore simple ways to design organized, intentional spaces and rhythms that slowly build your child's responsibility and bring more ease into your day. The smallest adjustments often make the biggest impact. We will work to find those small ways we can adapt your home during the ebbs and flows of the seasons of family life. If you're ready for your home to work with you, not against you, you're in the right place. Hit follow and let's get started. Hello. Welcome to Prepared Enough. It is mid-December here. We are getting super ready for the holidays. We have had just a crazy month. We've had a bathroom remodel going on, which means my husband is remodeling our bathroom and he rips everything to the studs when he does things. And so it's just been a horrific mess, to say the least. Not a horrific mess. I shouldn't say that. He's like super good at what he does, but it's been like dusty, like literally messy and filthy in our house because there's just so much dust that comes from banging walls apart and stuff. So it's been a month of cleaning for me, for sure. I have just like one closet left to dust everything off inside of. And then we're pretty good to go, and we just need to finish up the bathroom now, but all the dusty parts are done, so that's good. So it's just been a little bit more overwhelming than usual with the holidays and ripping apart a bathroom and having one less week in between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, but we're surviving. We had to say no to an event this weekend, and I think that saying no to that event is getting us back into almost thriving at this point. So we're going to go forward into the holidays with hopes to be thriving. We got some presents to wrap, some things to cook still, but I think we have enough time to get it all in now. So that's good. For a while, I was not sure that we would have enough time. So anyway, we are going to go through some of the books that I read in 2025 and which ones I recommend and which ones I do not recommend reading. And then I'm going to tell you a few books that I'm looking forward to reading in 2026. So I am scooching over onto my Goodreads account because this is the first year I've tracked things on Goodreads, and I kind of went back and listed a couple of the books I've read the previous year, like in 2024. And it has been such a helpful way to track my books. I can't believe I haven't been on here before. I don't know. I can't believe I haven't really tracked the books that I've read before, honestly. It's fine. It's been fine. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this has been really helpful to be on Goodreads. So I'm going to start with the fact that I read Jane Austen this year. I tried really hard to like her because, everybody hyped her up a lot, and I hated all of her books. Clearly, I am not a Jane Austen fan. I read Sense and Sensibility again. I feel like I read that one in high school. I read Mansfield Park. I read, what's the other one? I read Pride and Prejudice. None of them. I didn't like any of them. I can understand why people might like them. Like, they're just, I feel like you either like them or you don't like them. To me, they were so incredibly boring. I could hardly even get through the books. They were so boring. I don't know. It's fine. People like them. I can understand the appeal if you are like super into like royalty type of stuff. I feel like a lot of people really like that world and, kind of almost like a desire. There's like some sort of desire to like almost, you like when you're a kid and you're like, wow, I would love to be like a princess or like live in the old times where we did fancy things and whatnot. So I can relate to that because I feel like when I was younger, that I definitely had those thoughts in my head, like how cool would it be? And I like loved the idea of people like dressing up for, like I wish I was in a play or something sometimes. But I hate being on stage, so that never would have happened. Anyway, I can understand the appeal of Jane Austen, but I hated all of her books. So long story short, don't read them. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I guess you'll have to be a judge for yourself. But honestly, if you get like a chapter into any of her books, that's pretty much the rest of the book too. So if you've hated the chapter, you're probably not going to like the book because it's very like, wah, wah, wah. Just nothing happens. Anyway, it's just like the ebbs and flows of regular life that she talks about, which I also can understand the appeal of. It just makes for a very boring book. Okay. Then the second book that I read this year was The Frozen River, and it was one of my favorite books by Ariel Lawhon. I don't know how to say your last name. I'm going to butcher the last name, so I'm just apologizing in advance. But The Frozen River, I thought that I read that in 2024, but it turns out it was in 2025, and I loved it. It was a good one. So if you haven't read that one, definitely read it. It's about a midwife, and it's a historical fiction. The midwife is like a real person, but the author did change a lot of the details in her story to kind of condense the story a little bit, but a lot of the details are left the same and some are implied. It's a historical fiction. That's what it is. And so it was really, really, really good. I loved it a lot. I even recommended it to my husband. He hasn't read it yet, but I feel like it's not just like a woman read, It's just a good story, even though it is about like birthing babies and a midwifery and whatnot. It's not really just about that. So, yeah. And then I read Listen for the Lie. That was definitely like a read a lot or like a listen to story. It's kind of read like a podcast. It's by Amy Tintera. I think that there's more books of that maybe, but anyway, it was just okay. So I wouldn't like hardcore recommend it. I honestly didn't read like tons and tons of amazing books this year. They were all just kind of fine, except The Frozen River. That one was super good. I read The Year of Less by Kate Flanders. This one was also, I feel like it was like a 3 out of 5 stars. It was just fine. It had some value in it, but it really was like not worth reading too much. I read The Woman by Kristen Hanna, and a lot of people loved this story. I didn't love it as much as a lot of other people did. Yeah, I liked it. I shouldn't say that. I loved the story. I just wanted it to be more about the war part, and it was about like a nurse in the war and whatnot, and I wanted it to be less about when she got home and had all these relationship issues. I just wanted more of the war and less of their relationship. Onyx Storm I read, which was the second of like the Fourth Wing series, and that one was obviously good. But, you have to read Fourth Wing first. And I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. It was a fine book, nothing too special. I read The Lion Women of Turan. That was a pretty good book. I actually would recommend reading it. It was a good read. I liked it a lot. It just wasn't like I feel like it was like a 4-star book. I wouldn't say it was a 5-star book, but it was like 4.2 stars. It was pretty good. I read The Things We Cannot Say by Kelly Rimmer. This was a historical fiction also, and about the Holocaust. It was also a very good read. I really liked that one. If you're into historical fiction and especially like Holocaust-y type of books, that one I highly recommend as well. And then I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. That one I really liked. I did really like that one, but I love Kristen Hanna. So if you are like, I feel like most people have read a book of hers before, but if you haven't, definitely go read a book of hers. I think The Great Alone is probably my favorite book of hers, but and The Four Winds. I really liked those 2 books, but I also really liked The Nightingale. I read a memoir. It was called I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. And I was surprisingly pleased by this book. It was, I didn't know who this was before I started reading this book, but you'll know if you Google I'm Glad My Mom Died and you Google Jeanette McCurdy. If you don't know who Jeanette McCurdy is, just Google her name. She worked on, oh my goodness, what is the show? She was a child actress on, I think it was a Disney show with, oh my goodness, I'm like brain farting everybody's names right now, but it was, oh, you're going to laugh when I can't come up with her name. Okay, hold on. Jeanette, I'm Googling it right now for you because I can't even, think of what it was. So Jeanette McCurdy, she played, she was in iCarly. She was in iCarly, which I'm sure you kind of know that. And the actress that she was with Sam. She was in iCarly herself, and then she played in Sam and Cat, which has oh my goodness. Oh, Ariana Grande. That's the name of the person I was looking for. She played in Sam and Cat, which I never watched, but I did watch iCarly, I feel like. But Sam and Cat is Jeanette McCurdy co-stars with Ariana Grande, and so that's kind of how she had her name well known. And it's just her memoir, and it's a very interesting read. A lot, like trigger warnings would be some like mom-daughter relationships that are not very good and abusive fathers and stuff, and then also eating disorders. So it was a very good read, though. I highly recommend it. It was an interesting memoir, to say the least. I read The Wedding People by Alison Espech, I think that's how you say her name. And that one was a really good book, too. It was just a regular fiction book. It was like a very easy, happy read. If you're looking for a quick, simple, I guess I shouldn't say it's happy read, but it was an easy read. So if you're looking for something like that. And then I read Wintering by Catherine May. I follow Catherine May a little bit, and I do like a lot of her things. I just didn't really love the book Wintering. It was good. I feel like, I just wasn't in the mood for like nonfiction reads this year, maybe, because I didn't get a whole lot out of a lot of the nonfiction books that I read. I read The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, and that was also a very good read. The Tattooist of Auschwitz, I would rate like underneath. I really liked The Things We Cannot Say by Kelly Rimmer. It was more fiction, I should say more fiction. I think they're both historical fiction, but The Things We Cannot Say was just like a lot more thrilling, I should say. The Tattooist of Auschwitz was also very good. Just different. Anyway, and then I read The Briar Club by Kate Quinn. That one was a really fun read too. I really liked it. If you are woman power kind of person, you'll definitely like it. I am not like super feministy, but I certainly appreciated the book, and I really like all of the characters. It was a very good book for character development, and there's a bunch of women, and a bunch of women are the main characters. There's kind of like one main character, and then other women are side main characters, and I really liked the character development for each of these women. It was a very good read. I read Made for People by Justin Whitmore Early, and that one was okay. I didn't love this one, actually. I liked it, but it was, again, like a 3 out of 5. It was a fine book. I didn't think it was like a waste of time reading, but I wouldn't like rave about it. I read The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros because, I was on a Rebecca Yarros kick, and I really needed like a good fiction read after I read like some not so great nonfiction. So I was like, I'm going to just pick an author that I know that I am probably going to like. And I did actually really like that book a lot. So I would recommend it. It's about the last letter that a main character's brother writes to her. He was in the military, and he sends it back to her, and it's about like his best friend and this sister of his and whatnot, and a little bit of a relationship and all the jazz. This is a good book. It's a Rebecca Yarros book, so if you've read Fourth Wing and stuff, then you'll know it's not like those. It's not like the same kind of thriller, but it's like love story, same kind of love story. I read Endurance by Alfred Lansing. It's Shackleton's incredible voyage. It is it's not a fiction book. It's a nonfiction book. It's like a biography or whatever about this guy named Shackleton. And it is like so crazy. Everybody should read this book. I really do highly recommend it. It is about their journey. They went on a ship. I don't know what year it was, early 1900s. They went on, or I don't think earlier, maybe it was earlier than that. I don't think so, but it was so crazy what they endured in the Arctic. They were just like killing penguins, making their own ammunition. They were like falling through the ice, and nobody, like, it's just like a crazy story. It's a real story, and so it's extra crazy that it's a real story. It's mind blowing. I don't know how like the characters, not even characters, the actual human beings survived what they endured on this trip of theirs. It was wild. My husband and I both read Love and Respect by Emerson Eggerichs. I don't know how to say his last name. But it was really good. We both really liked it. And so if you are married, that's a good one. If you're a Christian who's married, for sure. It's a Christian book. It's a biblical book. So yeah, that one was really good. We liked it. Yeah. And then I should say, like, it's about women needing to show respect to their husbands and men needing to show love to their wives. And you don't need, like, it's like you shouldn't need to feel love in order to show respect. And in their eyes, and for the men, it's like you shouldn't need to feel respected in order to show love. And so, like, it's how when you don't feel those things, you should still respect and still love one another first. So, like, you should be the first one that starts that, because otherwise it's just a vicious cycle downhill, and you can start the uphill by, doing that first, being respectful first, or being loving first, or whatever. But yeah, so it's kind of like the general idea, but it is a good book. I read The Dutch House by Anne Patchett, and I can't remember that book, so obviously it wasn't that impactful. I read Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Ina Garten, and that one was pretty good. It was her memoir. I never really followed her before this, so I feel like it was probably more exciting for the people who had been following her for a while and really, like, wanted to read about her life. But yeah, it was a very interesting memoir for sure. I liked the way that she wrote it, and yeah, she is just, you can Google that one, Ina Garten, if you don't know who she is. But yeah, she's a very well-known person. So yeah, it was an interesting read. And especially if you like cooking and stuff, and you like have made her recipes and stuff before, then you would probably really like that book. This book. I read two. Here's some good ones that I've read. Okay, so I read Praying Like Monks, Living Like Fools, by Tyler Staton. Such a good book. 5 out of 5 stars for sure. If you are Christian, this is definitely a read for you. Like, you need to read it for sure. I recommended it to a couple of people, and they all texted me back, and they were like, I loved it. So if you haven't read it, definitely go read it. I read Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall, and I don't usually like these kind of stories. It was like a slower love story of sorts. I don't even know. I guess it's kind of like a love story, sure. But there's a lot more layers to it. And it was about like a little boy, and he died, and all kinds of other stuff in there. And it was so good. I actually really, really liked reading it. I read Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers, and that one was fine. It was like really cheesy on the Christian end. It's a fiction book, which I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it. I just don't like how she wrote it the whole entire time. It was very heavy on the biblical stuff, and like, I feel like it could have been toned down a notch and still gotten the gist across. But it was a pretty decent read, and it was a good story. I read James by Percival Everett, which was, it's like the other perspective of Huckleberry Finn. It's the perspective of the slave that escapes with Huckleberry Finn. It's from his point of view, and his name is James. And so it's like James's perspective on the Huckleberry Finn adventures, and it was a really good read. I really appreciate that Percival Everett kind of did that perspective shift on the classic novel. So it was kind of a fun read for sure. And I didn't read Huckleberry Finn before I read James, and I really wish I would have. So if you're thinking about reading James, definitely go read Huckleberry Finn first. I read Buckeye by Patrick Ryan. It was like the ending was a little wah-wah, but I really liked it because it was just very like unhappy ending. And I feel like I appreciated the fact that it left things hanging and didn't like wrap everything up with a perfect little bow, which I normally do like because I like to like have my fiction reads just like end nicely so that I leave happy. But I do appreciate sometimes reading ones that end like real life, right? And then the last book I read some other books in there that I just didn't mention because they weren't like that great. And I read this last book, I read The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, and I really, really, really liked it. It doesn't have that many okay, here, I'm going to click on it on my Goodreads account because it has 3.82 stars, but it's got like 1 million plus ratings. So it's still pretty good stars, but I feel like I would have expected it to have more because it was a pretty good book. Yeah, I really liked it. And I think it's book number 1. Yeah, it's a book number 1. And I'm pretty sure she's coming out with the second book sometime soon, like in 2026 here in January or something. Yeah, she is. So it's definitely, you want to read it. So I read it now, which is nice because now I don't have to wait so long before she comes out with the next one. I did not know it was a TV show. So I guess it's a TV show. I think it's on Amazon, Apple TV, I think. I don't have Apple TV, so I've never watched it before, but it is a TV show also. So I guess you can watch it or read it, but I really liked the book. It was called The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. And I needed a good fiction read at the end of this year here. I was, needing a good finisher because the book year was just like an okay year of reading. So nothing like super crazy, but definitely go read The Frozen River if you have not read that one yet. Some things I'm looking forward to reading for 2026. I am going to try to read a couple C.S. Lewis books. Those are heavy, man. I don't know. We'll see. I'm probably going to listen to them, but I'm probably going to wish that I had them in copy form for some of them. I have not read Mere Christianity, which I know is kind of crazy if I've read other C.S. Lewis books. But I want to read that book, and I want to read The Great Divorce is what it's called. And then I do really want to read The Chronicles of Narnia again. I maybe won't because I also could just wait until I read it with my kids. That was kind of my original plan, but I feel like I just want to read them. I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing there, but yeah, so definitely we'll read a couple C.S. Lewis books and maybe the Screw Tape Letters. That's another one. Okay. And then I really want to read Everything is Tuberculosis. I feel like it has like pretty good ratings, and it's been like, it is just like a book about tuberculosis. Oh, excuse me, which sounds really boring, but I don't know. It was recommended to me, and I'm kind of a weird sciencey nerd, so it sounds interesting to me. Yes, and then I also really want to read The Glass Castle. It is a memoir, I believe. It's a memoir. And yeah, so I am looking forward to that. That one also it's by Jeanette Walls. It is up there. It has, okay, here, I clicked on it. It has over 1,351,000 ratings, and it has 4.33 stars. So it has pretty many ratings and a lot of good stars. So I feel like it's probably going to be a good read. So I'm excited to read that. There's so many good books out there that I honestly look at the Goodreads ratings, and if they're not above 4 stars, I really heavily consider reading it or not, because if it has to be recommended by like a really good person that I know recommends good books, because I don't know, there's just not enough time to read all the books. And so, and then another book I really want to read is Before We Were Yours. I was gifted this book actually, and it's about orphans. It's about orphans. It's not about orphans. It's about a whole entire orphanage. And so I don't know. I think there's like a little bit of a crisis, and these kids go into the orphanage. I don't really know because I haven't read it yet, obviously. But it is, I have it on my bookshelf, and I also would just probably listen to it as well, but that's why I haven't read it yet. And then I also really want to read, so that's another fiction book that I want to read. So I want to read a memoir. Oh, I want to read the other fiction book I'm interested in reading and that I also own is This Tender Land is what it's called. So yeah, and that's like a book about a training school for Native American children. And so that always interests me. I really love reading about Native American history. Yeah, so that's another, I think it's fiction book. I imagine it's just a historical fiction book. Yes, and then so is Before We Were Yours. That's another historical fiction book. It is. I'm a historical fiction fan, so I always like those books. And then I really want to read Abby Halberstadt's books. I've only read her one book, her M is for Mama book, and I really want to read her Heart Is Not the Same Thing as Bad book, and she's coming out with, did she come out with it yet? I don't know. You Bet Your Stretch Marks. So I don't know if it's out yet or not. I think maybe sometime soon. I think it is. I don't know. But anyway, if it's not out yet, it's coming out very soon. And yeah. So those are, I want to read both of her books there because I really like her. I listen to her podcast, just really appreciate her knowledge and what she shares very bluntly with the world. She's not afraid of saying it how it is. And so I appreciate her content. But yeah, again, also that is, if you are a Christian, you're going to like those. And if you're not, you're not. So yeah, but I want to read her stuff. So yeah, that is it, guys. That is it. I'll link to my Goodreads account if you're interested in following along there. And I'm also going to link to my Amazon storefront where I just have a list of all the books that I read in 2025. And if you're ever purchasing something that I recommend, I would really, really appreciate you clicking through that link. I just get a tiny little kickback from it. And if you don't pay anything extra. So you know how it works. It's like what all the influencers tell you, like, just click here. It's nothing extra for you. Everybody has an Amazon storefront. So I'm just being influencer-y. So there you have it, All right. Well, thank you for listening. We will chat in the next episode. We're going to be chatting at the end of December here, or like early January. I can't remember the day of the week, but whatever. It's like the week after Christmas. And we're going to be chatting a few holiday cleanup ideas to help you feel more prepared for the holiday season next year. So like what you can do this year that's going to make your life a lot easier next year. So that is it. Drink water, eat snacks, everybody. Take care. Talk next time. Tash.